In this video, I'm going to solve 7 questions of 2-step equations with decimals and fractions. So let's begin. Solve for h. Okay, so 3 over 7 equals h over 14 minus 2 over 7. So I want to isolate the h on the right-hand side of the equation. So the first step is to add 2 7s to both sides of the equations to get rid of the 2 7s on the right hand side. So I'm adding 2 7s to both sides of the equation. So on the left hand side I have 3 7s plus 2 7s, and on the left hand side I have h over 14, and the minus 2 7s and the plus 2 7s cancel out each other. So on the left hand side I have 5 7s, and on the right hand side I have h over 14. Now to isolate the h I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 14. So on the left hand side I have 5 over 7 times 14, and on the right hand side I have only h, because h divided by 14 multiplied by 14, we are left with only h, because the division by 14 and multiplication by 14 cancel out each other. So on the left hand side I can simplify this. 7 divided by 7 is 1, 14 divided by 7 is 2, so 5 times 2 is 10, 10 equals h. So now to check, to verify that this is the correct answer, I will plug in the result, which is h equals 10 in the original equation. So 3 over 7 equals 10 divided by 14 minus 2 7s. And now I need to convert the 2 7s into a fraction with a 14 in the denominator. So to go from 7 to 14 I have multiplied by 2, so 2 times 2 is 4, so 3 7s equals, and here I have 6 over 14, and 6 over 14 can be simplified. If I divide 6 by 2 I have 3, 14 divided by 2 I have 7, so I have 3 7s equals 3 7s, which is correct, which means that h is indeed 10. Next question. Solve for r. Okay, so on the left hand side I have 0.5 times, in parentheses, r plus 2.75 equals 3. So to isolate the r, I will first get rid of the 0.5, and because it's multiplication I will divide both sides of the equation by 0.5. So on the left hand side I'm left with r plus 2.75 equals 3 over 0.5, and 3 divided by 0.5 is the same thing as 30 divided by 5, because I've multiplied the numerator and the denominator by 10. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So r plus 2.75 equals 6. Now to isolate the r, I need to subtract 2.75 from both sides of the equation. So minus 2.75. So I'm left with r on the left hand side of the equation, and on the right hand side of the equation I have 6 minus 2.75, which is 3.25. Okay, because to complete from 2.75 to complete to 3, I need to go further 0.25, and from 3 to 6 is another 3, so in total we have 3.25. So R equals 3.25. Now, to verify that this is the correct answer, I will plug in the result 3.25 in the original equation. So 0.5 times 3.25 plus 2.75 equals 3. Okay, so 3 plus 2 is 5, 0.25 plus 0.75 is 1, so 5 plus 1 is 6, so in the parentheses we have 6, 0.5 times 6 is like 1/2 of 6 is 3, so 3 equals 3, so this is good, which means that R is indeed 3.25. Solve for f. Okay, so the first thing is, let's write the equation again, 0.3 equals 0.5 f minus 0.7. To isolate the f, I will first get rid of the minus 0.7 on the right hand side of the equation by adding 0.7 to both sides of the equation. So on the left hand side I have 0.3 plus 0.7, and on the right hand side I'm left with 0.5 f. So here it is 1. So 1 equals 0.5 f. And now to isolate the f, I need to divide both sides of the equation by 0.5. Okay, so 1 divided by 5, sorry, not by 5, by 0.5. So 1 divided by 0.5 equals f, and 1 divided by 0.5 is like 10 divided by 5, which is 2. So f equals 2. Now let's verify that this is the correct answer by plugging in the result in the original equation. So 0.3 equals 0.5 times 2 minus 0.7. So 0.3 equals 0.5 times 2 is 1, because 1/2 times 2 is 1, minus 0.7. So 1 minus 0.7 is indeed 0.3. So this checks out. So it means that f is indeed equals to 2. Solve for q. Okay, so 3 times, in the parentheses we have q plus 4 over 3 equals 2. So the first thing will be to divide both sides of the equation by 3, because I want to isolate the parentheses with the q inside. So I divide both sides of the equation by 3. So on the left hand side I am left with q plus 4 over 3, and on the right hand side I have 2 over 3, which is 2/3. Now I want to isolate the q, so I get rid of the 4 thirds on the left hand side, so I subtract 4 thirds from both sides of the equation. So Q equals 2 thirds minus 4 thirds. So Q equals minus 2 thirds. Now let's plug in this result in the original equation to see if it's true. So 3 times Q is minus 2 thirds plus 4 thirds equals 2. So within the parentheses, I have 2 thirds, right? Because minus 2 plus 4, one is negative, the other is positive. So the result is the difference between the two. 4 minus 2 is 2. And the result is positive because 4 is greater than 2. So within the parentheses, we have 2 thirds. So 3 times 2 thirds equals 2. So here, the 3 and the 3 cancel out each other. So I have 1 times 2 equals 2, which is correct. 2 equals 2. That checks out. So Q is indeed minus 2 thirds. Solve for D. Okay. So 3 over 2 3 halves equals 5D minus 1 half. So I want to isolate the D, so the first step will be to get rid of the 1 half, minus 1 half on the right hand side of the equation. So I will add 1 half to both sides of the equation. So on the left hand side I have 3 halves plus 1 half equals 5D. Because minus 1 half plus 1 half cancel out each other. So I have here 4 halves equals 5D, which is the same thing. 4 over 2 is 2. So 2 equals 5D. And now I need to isolate the D by dividing both sides of the equation by 5. So on the right hand side I'm left with D, because 5 times D divided by 5 is just D, and on the left hand side I have 2 divided by 5. So this is the result. Now let's verify that this is correct by plugging in this result in the original equation. So 3 over 2 equals 5 times 2/5 minus 1 half. Okay, so 3 over 2 equals this 5 and this 5 cancel out each other, so I'm left with 2 minus 1 half. Okay. Okay, so 3 over 2 equals 1.5. Okay, because 2 minus 1 half is 1.5, and 3 over 2 is 1.5. If I write it as a mixed number, so 1.5 equals 1.5, which means that this is correct. So D is indeed 2/5. Okay, minus 4.5 equals minus 0.5 times x minus 7.1. Okay, so the first first thing will be to get rid of the minus 0.5 on the right hand side of the equation. So I will divide both sides of the equation by minus 0.5. Okay, so on the right hand side I'm left with just the parentheses, which is x minus 0.1. And on the left hand side I have minus 4.5 over minus 0.5. Okay, which is the same thing as 45 over 5, okay, because I've multiplied both the numerator and the denominator by 10. So 40, and negative divided by negative is positive, so on the left hand side I have 10, and on the right hand side x minus 7.1, and now I need to add 7.1 to both sides of the equation to get rid of this minus 7.1 on the right hand side. So on the right hand I'm left with x, and on the left hand side of the equation I have 9 plus 7.1, which is 16.1 equals x, and now I need to plug in the result to verify that this is correct. So let's see. So I have minus 4.5 equals minus 0.5 times 16.1 minus 7.1. Okay, so within the parentheses I have 16 minus 7 is 9, and 0.1 minus 0.1 is nothing. So I have here 9 minus 0.5 times 9 is 1/2 of 9 is 4.5, and the result is negative because I have minus 0.5 here. So it's minus 4.5, and it equals 4 minus 4.5, which is correct, which means that x is indeed 16.1. 16.1. Solve for A. So 0.25 0.25a plus 0.5 equals 4.5. So the first thing will be to subtract 0.5 from both sides of the equation. So 0.25 times a equals 4.5 minus 0.5, which means that 0.25a equals 4, and now 0.25a. And now I need to divide both sides of the equation by 0.25. So on the left hand side I'm left with a, and on the right hand side I have 4 divided by 0.25. So this is the same thing as 400 divided by 25, because I shifted the decimal point 2 places to the right. So on the denominator I have 25, and on the numerator I have added 2 zeros, which is 400. So 25 goes into 40 one time. 1 times 25 is 25. Subtract, and left with 15. Bring down the 0. 25 goes into 150. 6 times, right? 6 times 20 is 160, 120, and 6 times 5 is 30, so 6 times 25 is 150, no remainder. So A equals 16. Now to verify that this is correct, I will plug in the result in the original equation. So 0.25 times 16 plus 0.5 equals 4.5. So let's see, 0.25, it's like a quarter. A quarter of 16 is 4. 4 plus 0.5 equals 4.5. 4 plus 0.5 is 4.5, and it's indeed equal to 4.5. So this is correct, which means that A is indeed 16. Good. Thank you for watching. And in the next video, I'm going to do this practice, find the mistake, two-step equations. So I will see you in the next video.